let's be real about content creators.
Man,
Hey, Leo.
She is right
Hey,
there.
Leia.
Right.
Alea.
Yeah,
Got a special guest today.
I
All
know,
right.
right?
Y'all want to get to what we want to talk about? Travel. Lead us off.
Oh, so it looks like we diving right into it. So, Steelers linebacker Devin Bush, who's been the talk of all social media for his tweets, for lack of a better term, has basically came out and reached out. And Sharky, please, if I mispronounce his name, please feel free to correct me on this. Basically, Darrynton Evans, of course, we all know was the social media scene. Basically, for his content creation, he does podcasts, he does his streaming as far as gaming is concerned, and things of that nature. So, not sure what prompted Devin Bush to make the comment he made, but as you guys can see here, this was a tweet from Devin Bush saying, "See all those quote unquote content creators, including us, because we're the same way, with no more than 400 views. Nah, you bored, you a bored MFer." And then, of course, Evans responded with, "Even content creators have to crawl before they walk, G. If you're making content, let this motivate you and not put you down, and we'll make it to 401 views," in response to Bush. And this is coming just shortly after Devin Bush tweeted previously about TikTok, basically saying, "Hey, if you're a grown man and you're on TikTok, please stay away from me." And of course, as a Steelers fan, we know that Juju Smith-Schuster and Chase Claypool both have a strong presence on TikTok. So Devin Bush has become public enemy number one on social media over the past week, I might say. So just want to get you guys' take on both guys' comments and take opinions. We can start with how it is on the screen, Sharky, all the way down to 2.
Okay, so like I said, we're content creators, and we are those people who have on a per episode basis. Yeah, we have less than 400 views, right? So seeing his tweet, it can be discouraging. Not for people who, like I said, we always talk about mental capacity. You know, your mental, protect your mentals. Some people who are probably not mentally strong, that can hurt them, right? You can look at that tweet and be like, yeah, he's right. And I could be one of the people at times. I can admit to that right here live on the air. So seeing that tweet is like, really, really, bro, like, like that's how you just find a way to bring people down. So Darrynton Evans, I really appreciated him just even coming on and speaking, not only tweeting back what he tweeted, but he's also been about it. Like I've seen him on plenty of other Titans. I think he cares more for gaming streams, so he's been on plenty of other Titans fans or anybody who's tweeted him. He said, "Hey, I'm gonna follow you." He's been on the live people streams while they're gaming, coming in. So he's been about the action since this whole thing happened. And also, he himself had less than 400 views up to this point as well. So, like I said, Devin Bush, I don't know. I'm gonna say more mature. It's just that's his mindset. That's what he thinks. It goes along. Like I said, he has teammates who are content creators, so that could. I'm not gonna say it would create a strife in the locker room, but that's the type of thing that could. So I mean, just overall, like I said, that what he said, it could be down to people. I'm just glad that you have someone like Darrynton Evans who can come and speak up and say, "Hey, don't get down on yourself. Keep pushing."
Yeah, and in the space of like you said, we are content creators ourselves. Think about like the pandemic that's happened, and there's been a lot more of us content creators, so to speak, as well, because there was no sports, right, or just nothing for us to do. So there's been a sharp increase in podcasting over these last 2 to 3 years. So this is a new avenue in that we use to express our views and opinions, which is our First Amendment right as well, by the way, Devin Bush. But Devin Bush does one thing, though. He backs it up on the field. And so I will say that. However, we're in an era as well that uses social media a lot. And so what you say on social media, like I tell like my students I used to teach, like once you hit post, that is there forever. No matter how many times you want to sit there and try to delete it, somebody probably took a screenshot and it's there for life to have. And so Devin Bush is, I feel like, one of those guys that's definitely not into social media at all. But if you're not into social media, then why even tweet, right? Let Juju do what he does. Let anybody else do what they do, because at the end of the day, that's not who you are, and that's fine. But let us live as content creators, because I think well, if you ask me, we did the best job ever when there was the pandemic, because when there were no sports, LBR was there for you week in and week out to give you something besides LeBron and everything else. And so to me, content creators need to exist, because without us, you would have been listening to First Take and all of them explaining about LeBron or back in the day with the Warriors or something like that, instead of just being with us. So I'll pass it over to Skylar at this point.
Yeah, and you kind of took a little bit of what I was going to say about this whole particular topic, like referring to, different shows on ESPN or Fox. Some of those, live debate sports talk shows that we kind of all listen to, they're content creators. In a sense, everybody's a content creator. Devin Bush is a content creator. So for him to kind of, take jabs and, kind of say things like this, so I think I kind of agree with you. It's disheartening. It's kind of, ugly to see. But I think, I've been able to, get to a point in my life where things like this motivates me. So I'm hoping that, as I read this, I hope, that it motivates me. Then I hope that it motivates all of us. You see what I'm saying? For people to say stuff like that, we all start from, to Mr. Evans's point, like we all start from somewhere. Like, Stephen A. didn't become Stephen A. Until Stephen A. had to, create content. Same thing with Skip Bayless. Same thing with, Kendrick Perkins. A lot of the people that we listen to on a day-to-day basis, they've all had to start from somewhere. Even, to the football field, like if you want to, take it to that link, like Devin Bush, you have had to start from somewhere. So, to kind of say things like that, it's disheartening. But at the end of that, I just kind of hope that it motivates us to want and do more.
Well said, gentlemen. To Devin Bush, I would say, for him saying, "Nah, you just a bored MFer," I say, so what if they are? Like, as long as they're not out here robbing anybody or doing harm to somebody, who cares? Like, come on, dude. You're in the NFL. People are gonna look at your words, especially with him being one of the top, defensive players in the league, period. People gonna look at his words and it'll hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all say y'all hurt, and like, as y'all should be. Like, this is a leader of y'all team telling you, content creators, that what you're doing pretty much is for nothing. So I'm appreciative of this platform, of this podcast, for y'all, for allowing, people like myself to get off, what we have to say off our chest, especially with what's going in the sports media. Like, if we look around us, it's not many of us. So, and, even though our numbers were 1-2 downloads, plays a week when we first started, we were still motivated because we saw the bigger picture. And people like Devin Bush, to me, don't see the bigger picture. To Darrynton Evans, you got to crawl before you walk. As a DJ, I started, of course, DJing at the U of M, and like some of the parties that we throw weren't the biggest parties, but those were the times I was able to get my bigger followers, per se, because they were still having a great time. Like, those 10, 20 people that, came out and wanted to enjoy you, they did. And from there, it just grew on and grew on and grew on and grew on, to the point where it's like, I'm pretty good and I'm happy with my career so far. So it starts, like you said, you have to crawl before you walk. And then once you walk, start running things. And you know what I'm saying? Don't listen to people like Devin Bush, because, like I said, he don't see the bigger picture.
Yeah, and one thing that I just thought about too, sorry, before Trevor goes, thinking about like how long like content creators has been a word, but think like what you just said about, some of the parties that, that you used to DJ for, like even going back to some of these Greek weeks, like that's that's creating content, as I sit here and think about it. So
Content creation.
Exactly. So, that word, we've been doing it for so long, but I guess it's just become, such, I'm not sure exactly what that word replaced. But content creation has been going on for a very long time, even before we even thought we were doing it.
It's been going on since the dawn of time. I mean, if we're being real about it, now we got cameras. So,
Yeah, you're pretty much right there. I don't really have too much to say on this because you guys hit the nail on the head with everything. I will dive into Devin Bush's side of things because there's more layers to this than just this one tweet with him. and everything that's been going on with him and the rest of the Steelers on Twitter, per se. I'll address all of that this week in Blitzburg County, so stay tuned.
What a plug.
Let it be known.
What a plug.
Content creation at its finest.
So before was that the last question on this topic? Because I would ask like a question to y'all.
Yeah.
At the beginning of starting, let's be real, when the numbers still weren't looking good, you know what I'm saying? What motivated y'all to keep going? You know what I'm saying? Then I'll just say, just like, I know for me, like it really served as a therapy. You know what I'm saying? Just being able to talk to, 4 or 5 guys who know what the hell they're talking about with sports was therapeutic for me. And that, you know what I'm saying, regardless of the numbers, I did it based on how I felt every week that we were going in, whether we were in the studio or in our cars or at the crib, at the office, whatever. Like being able to talk to y'all motivated me to keep this pod going, and thank God we did.
Yeah, I'm kind of built very in a very different way, because seeing stuff like that, seeing 1 to 2 downloads, per episode, or maybe not even 30 for the month, really stuff like that, it pushes me to a whole different level that mentally I don't even know if a lot of people can go to, because I just do nothing but want to just keep saying okay, Skylar, that 2 will turn into 4, that 4 will turn into 8, that 8 will turn into 12. At some point somebody's going to hear it and somebody's going to see it and be like, damn, that's what I'm looking for. And people who at some point they make it big, or they do well, they all kind of have to do stuff doing stuff where they're putting out content and only 2 or 3 people listen to it. It just takes that one ear or that one person to see it and be like, damn, that's what I'm looking for. And it just you get that random call. So stuff it motivated me to just to keep going.
Man, honestly, y'all kept me motivated. I mean, like I say, I'm the person who directly sees the downloads and see the, how much we get per episode. So, coming from my standpoint, and I told the story numerous times before. Remember, I started, let's be real, in 2017, really, and I quit at the end of the year. Part of that has to do with, that then it was me, Savage, and Aston. It got to the point just me by myself, because just time, we were trying to meet in person, and we didn't have, what we're doing now, going live on video cameras and stuff.
Was somebody late? Was that why you had to change? Was somebody always late?
Nah, it wasn't the case at that time. Oh, man. But, yeah, so like I said, when I started doing it for myself, I just got bored. I mean, it got boring. Just I didn't, when I visioned it, let's be real, it wasn't to do it by myself. So at that point, I quit. Then my guy, Dominic Lawson, who I consider him as a mentor, who I look up to in the podcasting game. He didn't tell me anything specifically. I think he added me to a podcast group literally the day after I pretty much quit. And at that point, I was like, okay, I'm gonna reboot it. I just need to think of a game plan. Maybe back up with Skylar too, and the rest is history. So here we are now. So like I said, seeing over the last 3 years, I knew at that point I was like, nah, you're not gonna quit again. So any down moments I have now, I just find internal motivation to keep it going. And sometimes, like I said, I'm a Christian. Religion, God, sends somebody my way at different points in time. Recently, I was to say on air back in March when Skylar said he was going to do the Titans podcast. That pushed me up. Just recent 2 weeks ago, a Titans podcaster reached out to me and he motivated me again after maybe I had some little down periods. So it's really been y'all, just different people, and finding internal motivation just to keep going.
Yeah, I would say the exact same, just the motivation to keep going. Would definitely say having a group of guys that actually share all of this sports knowledge with, because I'm literally a sports junkie. Prior to this, my channel would stay on ESPN all day or whatever is pretty much on. Now, it's not always 100% accurate, but you get to see the gist of where I'm going. I will watch First Take. I'd watch SportsCenter. If there's a classic NBA game on NBA TV, I'm watching it. If it's a classic football game on, I'm watching it. So just gathering all this knowledge and just learning about this along the way, and now having someone to actually share it with on the same level, it's kind of been a motivating factor for me, and I'm glad to be doing it. And I can care less about the downloads. I know eventually someone's going to notice us, so I'm just going to keep going. And as we say here, consistency is key. So it is what it is.
Yeah. To finish off, I want to save mine for the end because I'm the youngest of all of us in terms of how long I've been with LBR. Okay. I clearly got a bald head, so I gotta be older. But like for me, I've always wanted to be part of this kind of platform. And so realistically, and I guess I'll share my journey real quick. Like I went to Ohio University originally before I graduated from Central State, but I went to Ohio University to begin in sports broadcasting and journalism itself in the Scripps program. And I hated it because I hated writing papers. And so I literally kind of gave up on journalism itself because I didn't want to write papers. I just wanted to talk about sports. I didn't want to write papers about sports. And so hearing you guys, like I said, a couple of years ago, and then, having the ability to join was awesome to me. And I think what's helped me stay motivated, not the downloads, it's just been like, what can we do? And I often talk to Sharky a lot. Like, what are some different topics that we can do? What can we do differently to engage our listeners differently? And he's given a platform for all of us to really make this more than just sports or just LBR itself, 901 sports. And I can't thank him enough for what he's done for us, and how he's put us really on his back for this. And for him to say that, Skylar has inspired him or Trevor's inspired him, man, it's really Sharky to me, that gave all of us this way of doing this and moving forward. I don't care if no one ever listens. You going to eventually. What's cool to me, I'll be honest, what's cool to me is seeing my son being able to look at me on YouTube or while we're recording, be like, that's my dad, or that's my uncle, or what have you, or posing like two. Right. And so like, that's awesome to me, man. And if that's my only view for LBR, let it be. Let it be.
Cool. True inspiration. Y'all ain't, like Scott used to always say, man, you ain't in the gym, you want to start shooting what's in the gym. Wait, how'd it go, Scott?
You were not shooting with us in the gym. I can't even talk, man. That was difficult.
You ain't shooting what's now, you better start shooting.
Just shoot the shot.
All right, man.
That's it. You better get with us for the price go up. That's all I had to say.
All right.
NBA headlines. Pretty much the only headlines is thank goodness it wasn't nothing about Kevin Durant. Thank God. But last night
that's coming next.
God damn it. Well, the Bucks did pull off a 20-point win against the Suns last night. Series of the NBA Finals now 2-1. So that'll mean I made a gentleman's sweep prediction. See, even they know the vibes over here. So I still got the Suns in 5. Gentlemen, where do y'all see this series heading?
I said on starting 5, I have Suns in 6. I'm gonna stick with it, but I think I could see a 7-game series. I would like a 7-game series. So give me Suns 6, but I would love a 7-game series.
Yeah, I originally said Bucks in 6. I'm gonna stay with Bucks in 6. Hopefully, like to your point, Shark, I hope it goes 7 games, so Bucks in 7. But I got the Bucks winning this series. And it's crazy because you look at the amount of games. I'm talking about this NBA headlines. If you go on like ESPN.com, this is a conspiracy theory, by the way, fellas. They have game 5 up, right? There's a guarantee for game 5, and there's a guarantee for game 6, so to speak, already by ESPN. But nothing about game 7 yet, which is interesting. But call me conspiracy theorist all you want. That's not my job. That's for Took and Trevor to do that. But I got Bucks in 6 or 7, and we'll talk about Giannis and the rest later.
Yeah, I kind of wish I could low-key kind of backtrack because I only picked Phoenix in 7 because I wasn't sure how often or when Giannis was going to come back. And now what you've seen is what I wanted Giannis to do. I think I was talking to one of y'all the other day, and I was saying, like, Giannis is averaging, 28, 30 points, a game here, but if he could just make his free throws, he could easily get to 35 or 40 like a night. And you've already seen him eclipse, the 40 point, 10 rebound stat line like twice in this finals already. And, if I knew that was going to be happening, then I definitely would have, picked the Bucks comfortably, but I didn't. So I'm going to still continue. I'm still going to go with my pick, which was Phoenix in 7. The thing that I am kind of worried about, though, is, that Devin Booker to Kobe Bryant comparison was poked out there, a week or two ago. And he's looked every bit not of that. So that's the thing that I'm worried about. But I'll still only go with Phoenix in 7 just because they have home court.
There's another comparison too.
Yeah, don't forget to David Robinson, DeAndre Ayton.
Well, that one was just so outrageous, that I just decided not to.
Yeah, that he comparing the Admiral to the Private.
I was just getting ready to make that reference, but it's okay. I picked Phoenix at 6, but it's looking like it may be Phoenix in 7. I am a little bit worried because Devin Booker has to shoot the ball better, and you have to commend the Bucks.
Technology, people, technology.
Gotta love it.
I guess too.
He's probably just going and going and going.
Okay, you guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I said Suns in 6, but I am getting a little bit worried because Coach Bud finally decided to follow my game plan, which I've noticed midway through the third quarter in game 1, and that's they need to play Giannis at the 5 and either stagger Pat Connaughton, PJ Tucker, and Bobby Portis at that 4 and 3 spot or whatever. And that's pretty much has worked wonders. And even with the game last night, it was not a lot of Giannis at the top of the key trying to make moves from the perimeter. Like most of his plays were coming from the low post, which when he's doing that, it gives Chris Middleton room to operate. It gives Drew Holiday room to operate. And then Drew Holiday was big for him, especially in that third quarter, which pretty much put the game away for them. I'm sticking with my pick with the Suns to win this series. But honestly, if they're going to pull it out, Kobe and David Robinson going to have to do something. David Robinson can't have
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
No, I'm saying this as a shot at Kendrick Perkins. So
gotcha.
Making this ridiculous comparison. So yeah, David Robinson can't have 3 fouls in the first half, and Kobe has to shoot a whole lot better than he has to shoot. And I use those terms or those names very loosely here, as the rest of the NBA world has with these Kendrick Perkins. But yeah. Those two definitely have to play better, and because Milwaukee has killed them on the inside the entire series, despite being down 2-1. And if that continues, this series could definitely turn around in their favor.
Hey, man, live by the 3, die by the 3. It is what it is. It is what it is. David Robinson doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? Kobe will step up next game. Isaiah Thomas, you know what I'm saying? He's doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't find a comparison with Cal Bridges, but it is what it is. Yeah, we good, man. We good.
Did you compare Campaign to Isaiah Thomas? You must be comparing.
Oh, Chris Paul.
You must be comparing them to IT and not Zeke.
Wait, IT with the
just for that Campaign gonna have 20 next game.
If he does, he does. But
he needs to.
Shout out to Savage because he did say. Shout out to Savage because he did say that Cam was gonna come back to earth, and he
hell no.
Did last night.
Savage also said that Brook Lopez was gonna win the Finals MVP.
He did.
No,
he did. You know. He did.
No. That's because we didn't know when Giannis was coming back.
That's because
He
some
didn't
of
say
y'all-
it. He said no. I'm not saying he didn't say
Much
it. I'm
of
just
it.
saying it's because we didn't know when Giannis was coming back.
So he chose Brook. That's what he said. He chose
Well, after listening to all those sports, he technically said he wouldn't be surprised if he win.
He wanted to troll. Gotcha.
Right. And you know he's on the
That's true.
troll.
Well, he got me because I believe him.
Content creator.
Hey, you gotta
I
get
believe
listening to
You gotta get your list up. Come on, Tekashi 6 Tekashi 60.
I'm yelling.
Oh, man.
Now, but what I will say is that offense that the Suns are running, that staggered screen, I like that. To be honest, I think a lot of teams are going to adopt that and move forward with that. But Bucks have been playing some great defense with it as well. But I really like that staggered screen. And I'm trying to think of who I was about to say. Justice Winslow can be compared to Mr. Bridges at this point.
That's tough. But I think, we've
What?
been quite.
Actually, a little disrespectful to Mikael
Come on,
Bridges.
dog. Mikael Bridges dropped
Come
27
on,
now.
man. You didn't see Justice Winslow dunk.
I think Justin Winslow dropped 7, let alone 27.
He had on a different jersey back then.
Oh, okay. But no, I think another thing that I want to do is I've been quite. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I said one thing that I want to do is I've been very critical of Mike Budenholzer, but no, it's only been one game. But he did make quite a few adjustments in yesterday's game, which I think one was this is definitely not my flowers. No, he tried to. Nah, I have a whole nother one. I saw that. but no,
that's a good one.
Right. But the two adjustments that he made for Game 3, I think led to the Bucks winning that game comfortably. Actually, was one moving Giannis to the 5. But the other one was to get Chris Middleton going and get Chris Middleton more aggressive. They put him on the ball more, and they allowed him to make a lot of the decisions. So that one gives him the ability not to just kind of stand there and watch Giannis do whatever Giannis is going to do, but that kind of gives them some form of advantage to get him going, get him aggressive. So even if he's not not necessarily shooting the ball well, he can at least get Giannis going and get Giannis going the way that he's done the past two games. So huge credit to him for that. But still a lot left of the series to be played.
And by the way, campaign.
Yeah, that was tough that Chris Middleton shot his first few free throws of the series last night. I didn't even.
Mm-hmm.
Campaign needs to score 20 for his trainer's sake.
Campaign, we give Campaign a lot of credit for when he does play well. He didn't play well yesterday. He did not play well at all yesterday.
I think his training needs him, man. After the Ja Morant stuff this weekend on Twitter. You need Campaign to drop 20 piece for him.
Or something. Or heck, not give up, not let Chris Paul get you down to a 6-point game, and then you come in and it's back up to 20. Because that was tough to watch. It was.
It was. I can also say this is also like role players such as the ones that we've named are typically always better at home anyway than on the road. However, I believe again I got the Bucks winning in 6 or 7 anyway, so the Bucks don't have to do it. But if the Suns are to win, I think the Suns are definitely going to have to win one in Milwaukee. Because I think the Bucks are going to be good enough and made enough adjustments to win at least one when they get back in Game 5 with the Phoenix Suns in the Valley.
So I got a question for you, Sheedy. Are the Bucks still better without Giannis?
Yes. I tell you all the time, I'm going down. I'm going down guns blazing. But I mean, listen, we watched the tremendous performance from Giannis and the adjustments made by Coach Bud. It now puts Giannis as more of a playmaker, so to speak, even as you watched what he did yesterday. And like I say, Chris Middleton running the point. But now their point guard making $40 million he made some threes like in a row, like 3 or 4 in a row, which were huge. But besides that, and it kind of puts him out to the island. But yes, I stand by my statements as I always do, and I'll go down burning bridges with it.
You're gonna be burning real soon, my boy.
And I will say this: if you can get last night's version of Giannis, you don't have to get it every night. But if he can do that on, if he can do that often, like it's a good night on that conversation that y'all having.
Right.
I mean, without Giannis, they don't beat Kevin Durant on the net, so but whatever.
We'll never know.
Well, that's irrelevant.
We'll never know. We can't talk about somebody that's not in the finals.
Oh, well, we can talk about him in the Olympics, though.
Sheesh.
What a turn!
We can't talk about this guy. Well, we can't talk about this guy while he's in preparing for Tokyo, though. So go ahead, Sheik.
Yeah, man. Listen, the other night, the Team USA lost their second exhibition game, and since they've been recording exhibition games, to Team Nigeria, which was coached by Mike Brown, the assistant coach of the Golden State Warriors. This team, Nigeria, had 7 NBA players, whereas Kevin Durant and company, because he was part of that starting 5, lost in reasonable fashion to this team of Nigerians that made 23-pointers. So just want to get everyone's take. We can start with Took about this and say, we'll go Took, then Trevor, then Skylar, then Sharky. Your take on Team Nigeria beating Team USA.
So I don't want to make this like a big deal, just full transparency, because of course we've lost with, like you said, 2 in a row. But if you were to look at the roster, right, we have a bunch of hoopers, but no leaders, which was the same case for 2004. We had a bunch of hoopers and no leaders. So as much as I want to have my boy Kevin Durant's back, there's going to be a couple teams to surprise us. One may be, what's the team Patty Mills play for? Australia? And then the other one, tonight. They're playing tonight. This is going to let me know everything I need to know about Team USA. And this is me being real. Coach Pop, even though he's the greatest coach, in my opinion, of everything he's done, his adjustment to this day and age basketball hasn't been anything. And now you're about to take this basketball overseas to where they thrive. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of worried. And, talent or not talent, we should be able to win gold based off talent. But we said the same thing about 2004, and they walked out with the silver, I think. Or was it bronze?
Bronze.
It was bronze. So it's like, it could happen again. So, and my boy Kevin Durant tired, so it is what it is.
You could use that whole tire statement to speak for the rest of the roster as well, too. So we not gonna use that as an excuse there. But my takes from the exhibition game against Nigeria is, if you're making 23s in the game, FIBA rules or not, that pretty much is going to put you in a position to beat anybody. That's just on any given night. So if I'm looking at the stats now, and it looks like that Nigeria was plus 10 in making threes. So that's a 30-point advantage right out the back. You're saying that this team has no leaders. They do per se have a leader, and that's Kevin Durant's former teammate, Draymond. He's supposed to be the quote unquote emotional leader of this squad, if just from what I was hearing. But also, this team doesn't have any dogs on the perimeter that's going to sit down in the chair, as my boy Savage would say, and play some defense.
Great point.
Like, everybody on the perimeter can get a bucket, but if you need a key stop on defense, you switching you're basically relying on switching everything and hoping the front court can get the stop for you. Like, I'm looking at this roster, there's nobody on the perimeter that's willing to sit down in the stands and say, "Hey, I'm gonna lock this guy up." It sure ain't Dame, because Dame got cooked in in that game against Nigeria. But kudos to Mike Brown, kudos to the squad of Nigeria for that. for getting the W there. And yeah, I'm catching some 04 vibes here. So let's hope that USA can clean it up.
Yeah, I echo what Trevor said just quickly. Giving Team Nigeria their flowers for going out there and actually beating Team USA. I don't care if it's an exhibition game, if it's playing 21. To roll out a roster out there and you still beat that caliber of NBA talent on the team was pretty impressive. So basketball has come a very long way from the 1990s to even now. So you have way more hoopers, you have way more NBA talent on some of these rosters as this in the Olympics than you ever did. But I said all that to say, I'm gonna put my content creator hat on real quick. To LeBron James didn't have this problem when he was the leader of the Olympic teams.
No, he was not. It was Kobe.
Okay, and
Dwayne Wade or Carmelo, he got 3-4 ring. Captain
right.
America.
But who was the leader though? You see what I'm saying? Like that's where I'm going with this, because there's always a talk that you kind of throw out there. That Kevin Durant is better than LeBron James. LeBron James, when he was leading the team, didn't have this issue. So again, I think that's another one in LeBron's book that at the end of the day, he's that much better of a leader than Kevin Durant is.
I would agree 1,000% with that, because Kevin Durant ain't never been focused on leadership. It's also about putting the ball in the hole. So that's been him since his whole career.
He didn't put the ball in the hole enough against Nigeria.
I mean, he resting. He ain't trying to get injured.
Come on with the excuses, man. I'm done.
Go ahead, Shark.
Hey, chill out,
Yeah.
Damn, chose the wrong team, but he has a choice. He chose Team USA. He could have chose Nigeria to be on the winning team, man.
Hey, the same thing could apply to Giannis too, who'll be playing for Greece. So.
But like I said, I think USA is this. It's exhibition, so I don't never take too much to account of exhibition. They got a chance to improve. Trevor, to your point about the defensive stopper, he's playing the NBA Finals right now. Drew Holiday be there soon. They had a defensive stopper, I believe. Let's go Team USA.
Hell, he gonna be tired too.
Hold on.
Hey, Nigeria had a bunch of NBA players on their team too. Well, a bunch of people, so they'll take it back.
All these foreigners in the NBA, everybody finna have somebody on somebody NBA team. Y'all see Luis Scola? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So that was just random, I know, but man, that man picked up at least 30 pounds.
And I'm glad you mentioned that name. And there was another name that was mentioned earlier, talking about the roster. Why on God's green earth did they not try to bring in Carmelo Anthony, who to me has always been? It's like Melo thrives in
Captain America
in this type of environment. And I think, well, I mean, they gave it to the Kevin Durant, but I think he would have been a better placeholder than Kevin Love, who's there trying to get him some teammates or try to get on the team to try to win another ring, I guess. And so I say that, but I also want to say a few things about the game. I feel like y'all about to say something else, but let me say what I was going to say first. Nigeria ran like every possession, make or miss, they ran down the court. And where USA gets a little sloppy is they weren't sprinting back on defense. Another thing about the defense is you can sit in a zone, Pop. Like you can sit in a 3-2 zone. To make 23s, you have to shoot at least 23s. And they shot, I think, like 50 or 63s. So at some point, you got to say, all right, we got to stop them at the 3-point line. Like you said, there's no one else there. Well, I hear you, and it's also not, and I'm gonna get to this. It's also not Lloyd Pierce's game either. For that last minute timeout call that he had, he had 13 seconds, and when you can look back at that whole moment in time, Dame Lillard didn't know what the heck was going on. Everyone else had no idea. He used the entire timeout time, and thank you. And still, they had no idea what the play call was. And to get that double screen to go and happen, and then all the time it took, what were y'all doing? Lloyd Pierce, what are you doing? You should never be in the NBA coaching. I know you're with whoever you are in college. I don't think you're ready for the NBA yet. But again, the rules benefit a zone defense. So why not zone when you know all they're doing is threes? They weren't killing USA in the paint at all. They weren't doing that. They were just shooting threes and shooting the lights out with the threes. They had Gabe Benson look like he was supposed to be in the three-point contest this year. And he's a Miami Heat, and he didn't do none of that this year. And also I want to add, there's Greg Popovich got our coach because of the lineups too. You can't leave Draymond in at the end of the game because he's not a scorer. He's just not it. You subbed in Draymond, I believe, for maybe Zach LaVine. I can't remember who exactly what the substitute was. But to bring in Draymond at the end of the game, this ain't it. And so I wish he would have, had a better lineup for that. And of course, like I said, Lloyd Pierce for that call. But again, they shouldn't have been down 3 because I guess Kevin Durant couldn't score enough points to get them there above the hump. He might have been tired. I mean, I guess he dropped back-to-back 40-point games to not make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. So who knows, but you're right. LeBron didn't have that issue. So we can carry on.
You gotta respond.
Some people you just don't have to respond to, brother. Sometimes you just gotta let people run their mouth and just keep yada yada yada, and just let them keep talking. One day they'll explode.
Yeah, but some points, in a fight, you gotta swing back just to let me know that you still sitting there. You gotta swing back, bro.
Exactly. Hey, 20 out of 42 from 3 for Nigeria. 20 out of 42.
Kevin Durant can't score 20 himself. Damn, he needs some kind of help.
Winning every single game if you're making nearly half your threes there. So, but yeah, and we on the subject of Lloyd Pierce, let's take a brief moment to apologize to the Atlanta Hawks because Lloyd Pierce was the coach of the Atlanta Hawks when they got out to the slow start. Before he was eventually fired and replaced by Nate McMillan, and the rest is history there. So, Atlanta fan Pierce. So,
yeah. Now he's an assistant coach for the Indiana Pacers. Tragic. All right. Let's get on a positive note. New segment we're introducing. We're giving flowers. We've been saying, Taco Chidi, she just said, man, we've been talking about giving somebody their flowers for the last 3 months. For real. Almost every single episode, somebody said something about giving somebody some flowers. So, Saj is actually having a segment of giving flowers. So, who are y'all giving y'all flowers to?
I can go first. I'm going to spin it a little bit. Go to a different sport. Novak Djokovic gets a set of flowers for me. He just won the Wimbledon Open in tennis. I think yesterday, Sunday. Yeah, and he's now at 20 Grand Slams, so he's tied with Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer, which is very, very impressive. And I think what I want to give a shout out to Gary Parrish. So Gary Parrish is always like, if you're not into tennis, he's compared it this way. Imagine if if Michael Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron all played in the same era. Like, that's legit what's going on with tennis right now. Like, those three to all still actively be playing and literally all hold the records for men's total Grand Slams is actually pretty damn impressive. So Djokovic is now at 20. I'm pretty sure he's going to pass them probably within the next couple of months because that man is really, really good. And he mentally is built very, very much to Kobe. I've watched them the past 2 matches with the 2 Grand Slams. The man is built all types of different. So he gets my flowers.
Can I just add this to what you just said, Skylar? Is I don't think people understand how difficult tennis is as well, because tennis is the one sport where you don't, after a couple minutes, see your coach. You can't even talk to your coach. It's legitimately mano a mano, or if it's doubles, 2-on-2, right? But you can't even look at your coach to even get a signal from them. So 20 and climbing is a huge accomplishment for him and the rest of the guys that are there as well. So I just want to add that piece as well.
I actually got one, speaking of tennis, if I could. It's not really tennis per se. It's actually football and eventually tennis. If I was to give flowers to somebody right now, it'd be Spencer Paysinger. Y'all know I love the show All American, right? And like the latest episode, you know what I'm saying? The latest episode is about them bringing in the, you know, so they're gonna have a whole multiverse, for lack of better words, for All American. And now y'all laughing, but I'm dead serious because like I don't know much about the Black history in tennis. I don't know much about the Black history in baseball. And now they're actually gonna bring it all to one screen at a HBCU, which I think is pretty dope. Yeah, and it'll help continue, I guess, the multiverse and All American. So, you know, shout out to Spencer for starting it all, and you know, hopefully he win the championship for Crenshaw.
So to my point about, you know, you got to swing back in the fight just to let me know that you're still there. That came from out of nowhere.
You said we giving flowers out. You said
it's
okay.
Like this
be the perfect point.
No. That's not what my issue is. Who you're giving your flowers to? That's amazing.
Oh, okay.
But the way you tried to spin that from the way we were just talking about tennis, because you were saying something about, you know, from football to tennis. I'm like, who the hell is out here doing that?
All American is a football show. They're doing a spinoff, and in the spinoff, they're gonna be talking about tennis. So
why don't you say All American? You said
right. You tried to make
it. Okay, fine. All American. The show All American.
That's what confused me. I was like, he ain't playing tennis.
Technicalities. It's all. Come on, dog.
Shout out to these content creators, man. Content creators is on 1,000 a day.
Black content creators that's trying to make a name for themselves, like Spencer.
Could have gave his real name.
This is Spencer Paysinger.
Oh, you talking about the actual real one? The one that's
the actual guy.
I know.
Not Spencer James in the actual show. Jesus.
I know somebody else got some flowers.
Please.
I do. And actually, I guess
they're gonna blow out your hands.
Mine is somewhat sports related, not sports related, man. Anthony Mackie, man. He became Captain America and hosted the ESPYs all in within 2 months.
It's a different type of bag.
Dang, I thought you had more than that. I was like, he put the
I thought so too.
Thanks for the context.
I keep it short and sweet.
At least I tried.
What else am I supposed to say? He became Captain America and hosted ESPYs. What else?
Wait,
he checked. Right, he checked business.
You know what I'm saying? You gonna talk about his weed joke with Sha'Carri? You know what I'm saying?
I missed that one.
You didn't watch the ESPYs, then shame on you.
I didn't watch the ESPYs.
I didn't watch it, to be honest with you.
Can you guys hear me?
That's one of the things he made, like a weed joke to Sha'Carri while who was in the crowd. Shout out to her.
All right, Trevor.
Yeah, go ahead, Trevor.
Shout out to us for making edibles and stuff out of the whole Sha'Carri situation. That's a different story. I'm gonna keep it different, man. I'm gonna give my flowers for this show to my WNBA as of late. Had an impressive win over the Dallas Swings yesterday. The MVP, Asia Wilson, with a near triple-double. So nice little win to take them into the All-Star game, to All-Star week in the Olympic break. So if you haven't checked out any WNBA, please watch the All-Star game on Wednesday, which will be just right before Game 4. So if you haven't had a chance to check out any WNBA basketball, I would suggest you at least start with the All-Star game.
It's the Commissioner's Cup, like before the All-Star game, or is it after the Olympics? You know, they have like a Commissioner's Cup championship or something.
So come here often.
Right, it's like a mid-season. They had like a mid-season. Yeah, Connecticut Suns. Yeah, starting to face off. Yeah, they're like almost like an in-season tournament, but it's not an actual tournament. I don't know how they came up with this, but they both play each other for Commissioner's Cup.
Yeah,
the Commissioner's Cup. Yeah, I saw that.
August 15th. Actually, okay.
So welcoming to the real garden. I want to give flowers to three individuals. Since y'all went off script, I love it. Non sports at people. I want to give a shout out to Curtis. You might know him as 50 Cent. He needs some flowers. He needs some flowers because without Curtis, ain't nobody watching Stars, ain't nobody buying that subscription, and ain't nobody still watching Power and everything else. So first and foremost, I want to give it up to Curtis and 50 Cent and G Unit. The next set of flowers I want to give to is Tuke's boy, Kevin Durant. He deserves his flowers. You know, he's not leading Team USA to where they need to be right now. However, he did wield his team.
I'm just making sure Jesus ain't coming back. Nah, we good.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just making sure Jesus ain't coming back down. I don't know what's going on right now.
It's called it's me being real in the real garden. I'm about to hand out some flowers to Kevin Durant. He's legitimately probably the best scorer that we'll see because he can get it from inside and out that we've seen here. So yes, I'm gonna give him his flowers, and I'll also I said that the Bucks are better without Giannis. I want to give Giannis his flowers. He's proven, along with Bud and Chris, yes, give me all of those, that he can be this type of player. And like you said, imagine if he's really hitting like 60% or 70% of his free throws. He's not at 40 points anymore. He's at more like 50 or inching right towards it. And so I want to, from the real garden, again, Curtis, Kevin, Giannis, please accept.
Oh, wow.
Did
you make them yourself?
I did. I got them right from the real garden. You might have known them. They were across the street from your neighbor that wasn't waking up today. So that's all.
Sharky in this show right now. You in this show right now. What are y'all on today? We not recording anymore on Monday. Actually, that's the fifth
Monday Madness.
That's the fifth. Let's be real. That's the fifth. Let's be real commandment. Thou shalt not record on Mondays because y'all are out of pocket. Y'all are extremely out of pocket.
That's what it is. That's what it is. We're more holier and more positive on Sunday because Monday Madness. Okay, that's what we're gonna call this. Monday Madness. Goodness.
I have nothing else to say.
I was just giving flowers, man. That's all. I actually think I got them from Dollar General, to be honest, because they plastic.
I was about to say, too. I don't know how many times I've been over Sheedy House. This is my first time seeing those flowers.
Right.
I'm at that man's house at least twice a week. I've never seen those flowers.
Yeah, anybody got anything else?
No.
Anybody outside of Sheedy and 2 got anything else?
No.
And on behalf of me and Kevin Durant, thank you. Thank you for the flowers, even though it's fake and they are.
Right, y'all. It's been real, man. Content creators for life.
Hold on, does that mean it's fake flowers? What do you mean he really don't mean it?
No, it's like theater. It's a prop.
Oh, okay. It's still
Sharky.
All right. Yeah.